From New York, it's That Kevin Show.
See, I knew it.
Come on, Kev. What's a few classified documents between friends?
I told you all the time. I knew it. I knew he had some too.
Here he is, That Kevin McCullough.
All right, Kevin McCullough, very glad to have you with us, and I am always pleased to welcome my next guest because she is not only one of the smartest women in the entire country when it comes to the world of sports, specifically the NFL, which in my book, if you're female and you can recite NFL chapter and verse, that's pretty cool. But she's also taking on a whole new chapter in her broadcast career as the host of the Sideline Sanity podcast with the Salem Podcast Network. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Michelle Tafoya. Hey, Michelle,
wow.
Good to have you.
What a nice intro. Thank you. Good to be here.
And we haven't talked since the very first week you were on. So now that you've been doing it for a while, how do you like the podcast gig?
I like it a lot. It's there's a lot of freedom. I can talk about whatever the heck I want to talk about. No one tells me what I can or can't, touch upon. And I like that freedom. I really enjoy having unusual guests, and broaching some topics in a way that I like to. So it's been a lot of fun.
I'm sure going from NBC to Salem is kind of like a little bit of a mind warp. I mean, in terms of what you're encouraged to think about, do, and say.
Well, no one ever told me what to think about or say when I was at NBC Sports. I will give them great credit for allowing me to go do some speaking engagements that were definitely on the conservative side. But again, you had to just watch your social media and that kind of thing. And it's very freeing to not have to worry about that anymore and just be able to post whatever the heck I want to. I'm not worried about, anyone else getting hurt except for me. And I tell my kids, hey, if you're ever uncomfortable, let me know. And I have yet to hear from them. So I think I'm all right.
Sounds like all's working in the right direction there.
Yes.
Well, I want to talk a little NFL. Obviously, it's one of my biggest, funnest things to talk about. But I want to deal with this subject first because you made actually mention of it on your Twitter feed this last week, and it has to do with the incident with Buffalo Bills, Mr. Hamlin, and what happened on the field. And it's kind of been an inspiring story. And even if people this week were watching the Tampa Bay Dallas game on Monday night, there was a very scary kind of moment there in the second half where the Tampa Bay player, I'm forgetting his name, but he had to be carried off. And I think everybody, the first thing that went through their head was, what's going on. And a lot of people, Michelle, did not know, and I'm a little bit surprised that they didn't know, but a lot of people did not know that the NFL has a lot of players that after every game in every city, on every field of play, that happen to be God-fearing, usually Christians, that come together and pray at the center of the field. And they do so every game, every season, every cycle. And I think the Hamlin story kind of brought that out. But you kind of pondered on this a little bit on Twitter, saying this is a good thing for us to be talking about prayer in the sports arena.
I think it is. I don't know why we've become so afraid of that term, pray or prayer. And I found something interesting recently in Buffalo. The Sabres, the NHL team, came out after DeMar was hospitalized. And instead of wearing shirts that said pray for DeMar, like the entire NFL was using the slogan pray for DeMar. I hate to term that a slogan, but you know what I mean.
Right.
Those three words. Their shirts said love for DeMar. And I wondered why if that was an intentional staying away from the word pray. So they wouldn't look, I live here in Minnesota, where recently at the Mall of America, a guy was asked to take off his shirt that said Jesus saves or to leave the mall. And so, that to me is really not an offensive shirt. And he was told if he wanted to continue to shop there to take it off, or he could just leave. And it's gone viral. The video's gone viral. And it's embarrassing to me as a Minnesotan to think that if one person's offended by a shirt, or a couple people in a massive mall are offended by a shirt, that a guy should be accosted by security and be told you can't wear that shirt just because it says Jesus saves, or Jesus is the answer. I mean, we're looking for stuff to be offended by in this day and age. And I just loved that people weren't afraid of that in that moment with DeMar, you know.
Let me move on to some of the fun stuff. This last week on Monday night, I was told by every Dallas hater in my life that that Tom Brady was going to dust off the rust, and it was going to he was going to come for them, and it was going to be 8 wins and 0 losses against the Dallas Cowboys. And my assessment was that Micah Parsons took that a little bit personally, and I think that Dak was playing for his life, and I think that the combination of that motivation seemed to really come to fruition. How do you shape up the divisional matchups and what you're seeing coming out of the wild card round?
Well, that was a fun wild card round. It really
one of the
was
best
fun.
I've seen in recent years.
Really
actually,
fun.
Yeah,
it was really fun. I didn't expect myself. You know, people ask me if I miss the sidelines. Do I miss being there? And I honestly, I was so prepared for this that I don't. I love being at home watching. And
you don't want to be on the sidelines in Buffalo with the blowing -0 wind chill and.
No, I'm walking my dog in the same weather here in Minnesota. So no, I do not.
Yeah, but not while the game's going on. You're sitting in front of your 70-inch plasma.
Yeah, just with a nice warm fire going.
That's it.
So yeah, I don't envy that. Look, I did it for so long, and I loved every minute of it, and I wouldn't trade it for much of anything. But I was ready. So watching it though, I've been surprised at how much fun I've been having watching it. And that Dallas game, I'll say this, and I tweeted this out after the game. Do you want to be the team that faces Dallas right now? They look extremely confident, which is something that, look, I've covered so many Dallas games. I think I've done more Dallas games than any other team in the NFL.
But you do know how they played the week before.
Yeah. Yes, I understand that. But you know, look, they looked really, really good.
Yeah.
And so that can start a roll. That can really start a roll. It's how you're playing and when you're playing that way that is so key. So you know, it's going to be tough for San Francisco, but gosh, what a story in San Francisco!
Oh, it's going to be a great game.
Purdy kid, it's unbelievable.
Let me ask you NFC specifically. Does New York or San Francisco have a better shot at breaking through on the team that looks like it's the hotter one?
Oh. It's a great question.
Because I was surprised at how well the Giants played and
I was
very
too.
dominant in their performance.
I mean, it was, yes. Now I will say this, the Vikings defense was pathetic.
Yeah.
And not what the Vikings are known for. I mean, that's what to me has been so disappointing about the Vikings this year. This is a team that's always had the purple people eaters and, you know, just great defenses, and they haven't this year.
Real quickly, AFC, Cincinnati goes to Buffalo, Jaguars go to Kansas City. Is Trevor Lawrence's run over this year?
Yeah, I think it is. So yeah, I think it's done for them. I think it's Kansas City is just too much. I personally, I would love to see the Bills keep going. I'm a huge fan of that team in terms of what they stand for, who they are as people.
Michelle Tafoya, host of Sideline Sanity. You can get it anywhere that podcasts are aggregated at. Michelle, we'll talk to you again down the road, but thanks for being part of the Salem family, and thanks for being with us.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
You got it. Kevin McCullough coming right back.
Stick around for more of That Kevin. Next, That Kevin Show with Kevin McCullough.